What's up, brick builders? Today's build is the tractor set number 9393. Year it came out was 2015, and the age group you're looking at 9 to 16. Number of parts, 350 parts. Lots of small parts in this. 7 pence per piece is the price per piece, and the cost of it brand new in 2012 was $24.99. The current value of a mint sealed good condition box, you're looking at £81, so not too bad of an investment. Used, you're looking at £22 to £30. What's up, folks? Shaun from BRIT'N Bricks. How you doing? I hope you're well. We've got another Technic build. Yep, it's all over the place here. There we go. Some big wheels, big tyres, some small tyres. Quite the build, this, to be honest. Quite the build. You get some pieces that are going to fall out of the tyres. Got to empty the tyres. Is that it? Yep. We've got the rims, double-sided again. Common feature. Oh gosh, we've got loads of stuff in this. And there we go. I think that's empty. Yep. Put the tyres over there. And we got the instructions up for you as well. There you go. There's your instructions for you. Some more wheel rims, again double-sided, industrial, racing, those on top of there. Okay, so apologies for the instructions if they're a bit too dark and you can't see the holes in the bars or anything like that. I am using instructions because there is a little bit dark, but it still gives you something to follow, follow by. Got some panels here, so let's get those panels out of the way. And space out this lot, as there are a lot of fine pieces in here, like small pieces. Right, so we get a curly whirly, a 3-axle. 3-axle is going into, there we go, 3-axle is going to go into the curly whirly at the end. And then we go put an ET head on the end of the curly whirly. So the ET head, put your thumb behind the axle. And then we got a blue pin, long blue pin is going to go next to that. It's going to go short ways in. And then we got 2 black pins. One of them's a normal black pin and the other one is the black pin with the collar on the end. The black pin with the collar on the end is going to go into the elbow. Not all the way, just leave it like it is. And then we've got the black pin is going on the other side, 1 hole and then drop. That is the first 3 stages. We've got some gear work. So a 2-hole connector. Here we go, 2-hole connector. 3-axle is going to go through the bottom of that. So we got that 3-axle. And then we got a 4-axle is going to go through here and into a connector sleeve. So 4-axle. And it's going to go through the top hole. And then we're going to put that with a moon gear. And then we got a 6-axle coming in on the back on this connector here. So we've got a 6-axle. And then we got another axle connector on the end of that. And then we're going to attach that to the framework. And that's going to go right next to that. It's going to be a bit floppy for now. There's nothing holding it in place except for yourself. So just be aware of that it will kind of move around a bit. Next bit is a small light grey L shape. Small light grey L shape. It's all camouflaged. There's a big L shape. We want a small light grey L shape. There we go. And 5-axle is going to go through the... So imagine it as the bed. There's the headboard, and there's your bed, and there's your foot of your bed. The 5-axle is going into the foot of the bed. So at the end, like so. And then you go drop a pin, blue pin, short ways in. Oh no, actually long ways in. Not all the way though. In the middle of the bed. And then we're going to attach that to the top here. The axle is going to go through the axle hole on the curly whirly. So it's like that. Yeah, another curly whirly. And we've got a pin going in the top just before the axle hole there. We've got another pin going into the elbow. And then we've got a space and a pin drop in there, and then we're going to put that on the other side and close this in, and now at least that piece will be a little bit more stable. So you put in the axle through the axle holes on the curly whirly like so. Still a bit floppy, but then we'd put in 2 blue pins in the end of the ET head. Got to go long ways in, don't push them all the way through, just leave them sitting there. So that's those 2, and then we've got a 5, I think that's a 5, it's a 7 Technic, 7 long Technic hole, 7 hole Technic beam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to be dropping. It's going to be a hole and then a pin on this side, and a hole and a pin on the other side. And this is going to be part of the steering. Next, we want 2 large heat shapes and a 4 long axle with a stopper on the end. So we've got the 4 long axle there. Keep your thumb behind the 4 long axle just to stop it from moving, and we're going to put a large bush in down the side like that. Now you don't need to keep it in place. We're going to do 2 of those. So here's the other one. We want 4 axle with bush in. Keep your thumb or finger behind it and a large bush in to keep it in place. And now you keep the axles in line with the bar, and the bar goes on top. So it's like that, and you still got your 2 pins on top as well. Next, we're going to add the steering rack itself. Not a part that we've encountered much at this moment in time. There's our steering rack. And that also goes on top. And then you have some sort of steering, and then we're going to put that in place. So the moon gear is going to go onto the steering rack. That's what's going to operate the steering rack. To lock these parts in place, we're going to push these pins, these blue pins that we've been waiting for, through into the black bar like so. Sometimes you need to give it a bit of a wiggle, and that's as far as it will go. And you will have some sort of control here. I don't know if it's solid enough yet. There you go. That's how that's going to work. And then we're going to be 3-hole Technic beam with a ball joint pin, a black ball joint pin. Okay, it's going to go into the middle. We're going to do 2 of those. So this one here, ball joint, pop it in the middle, and we are going to turn this upside down, and this beam is going to go onto this pin here, the grey pin on the H shape, and the blue pin that we just pushed through. And the ball joint is going to go in between those, and it's going to be facing into the structure. So it's not going to be facing out. So like that. And a one hole connector with axle. It's going to be in the middle here. We're dropping a pin in here as well, in between those two beams we just dropped. And then this one hole connector is going to go on top of that. And then we've got a 13 hole Technic beam. I think there's only 2 of them in this set. So it's 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Perfect. It's going to go onto the end of these 2 pins here. And now you're starting to get the size of the tractor. And we're going to close off the curly whirly on this side here. No, we're not. We're going to extend this part here. So we get curly whirly. We've got a pin. And then we've got a pin on this side here. And then we've got pin on the other side. And then back to the other side. We have a pin after that, like so. And then this is going to attach to the 5 axle here using the axle hole on the curly whirly. Push the axle through a little bit just so it's nice and flush. And we got some bobbly gear work, right? So we got a 2 hole axle connector with a hole in the middle for studs. There it is. There's your hole in the middle, and these are your 2 axle connectors. So we're going to have blue pins with the axle on one end and a pin on the other. The axle is going to go into the connector, like so. And then we've got a dark tan pin with a stud on the end. That's a stud there. That's going to go through one side. Keep your finger or thumb behind it, because we're going to be putting a bobbly gear on. Yep, you heard it. It's a bobbly gear. It's kind of bobbly. And make sure it's got a little bit of movement. Don't bunch it up too far, otherwise you just won't get, or it'll be a bit resistant. And then we're going to attach that to the end of this connector here. Move that down just a touch so that we've got a little bit of freedom. That's that stage. And then we've got a 7 hole Technic beam with a black pin with sleeve at the top. Going to push it all the way through. Then we got a hole, and then we got a pin. So hole and pin on the other side, and then there's a pin at the very bottom of it, like that. Then we're going to attach a large, that looks like a large black L shape to these 2 pins here, like that. And then this is going to attach onto this pin here that we just put the bar on the curly whirly, and it's going to go into the middle hole. So you got a hole, you got 3 holes here, and it's going to go into the second hole. So it's in the middle hole there, like that. So this is going to form the shape of the cab of the tractor. Then we got a small L shape grey, and that is going to go from that pin there, and it's going to hold this pin in place. It should hold this pin in place. It's not I don't think that's far enough, actually. I don't think that's close enough. I may have that pin wrong. In fact, I do have that pin wrong. So this one is 2 holes. This one is that hole there. That back in there. Now these should meet up. There you go. Is it? I think that's an angle. So this. That might be Y. There we go. Okay, so now that's kind of low. Teething problems. I think we got it. There we go. Nice straight lines. Yeah, I just kind of got the wrong connection there onto the elbow. It was before the elbow that I got it in there, which made everything a little bit higher than it should have been. And we got the grey T-bar, and we're going to put blue pin, long blue pin with the short end first in the top or the bottom of the T, and at the top of the middle of the T. So if you look at it as the T shape, then you got the bottom and top. Then we're going to put a blue, no, we're going to put a big H shape. Put a big H shape on that blue pin there. Give it a bit of a wiggle. You're lining up 2 pins, and then we got a 3-hole Technic beam going on the middle there, and then we got a black pin going on the top of that pin on that bar that we just put in like that. And this is going to form the axle. So this looks like it's 2 holes. So we got 1, 2. I'm going to drop the pins right there, and that meets up with this bar, which is perfect, which strengthens that up a lot. Meets up with that like that. More bobbly gear work. 6-axle. Oh, it's an 8-axle. I apologise. It's an 8-axle, so it's the longest axle. I think it's the longest axle. That's an 8, but that's got a stopper on the end. But we're looking for a black axle that long, and that work. Bobbly gear. That's the last bobbly gear, and then we got a large bushing on top of that. Then we got 2-hole connector. We're going with the hole, so this is actually supposed to move like that. If you put the Technic hole, if you use the Technic hole on the axle, then there's no movement at all. So it's quite a good little piece for builds with motion. And then we're going to be dropping a 5-axle in the Technic hole here, the axle hole, like so. And then we got a Technic axle connector, and then we got a 4-axle going on the top of that, like so. And then this is going to connect. Oh no, hang a minute, we've got some more bits and pieces going on there. We've got another 2-hole connector with the hole, 2-axle connector with the hole, and then we're going to put a small bushing on top of that. Not a big bushing this time, small bushing on top of that. And then we've got the moon gear going on top. So this is going to be your hand of God steering. I can't find, there it is. I'll find the moon gear. That's going to be your hand of God steering. This is going to attach, oh, we need some blue pins in here as well, into the axle holes. So blue pins with axles. There we go. Now we can pin it to the structure. So it is going to go into this hole here. So the blue pin is going to go into this hole here. And these bobbly gears are going to meet up as well. They should do. Hold on. That is, it's a bit fiddly. This is going to hold that in place on the beam. So you can push that through like that. There's a little bit of issue here with how this is. That's not high enough. So this is a bit of a technical build. This axle's probably pushed through too far. Let's try that. Alright, that meets up like it should. And that should go into the grey L shape like that. That's supposed to be an 8 axle. So why is this too high? This is not high enough, is it? Well, I think that's about the right height. So that's right. Is this bar, maybe this bar is too low. Yeah, this bar's too low. My apologies. That should be like that. Yeah, there you go. Right. Great puzzle. So once again, that's going to go into there. Push that through back, and now the pin will go in the middle. Yes, and you should have your steering. It's nice and smooth as well. Next part is the seat. So large dark grey L shape, dropping a pin in the top, short ways in, and pin at the bottom. Then a light grey L shape is going to do the same thing, and then we're going to close it off with a nice dark bluish grey L shape to make the seat. We're going to put 2 large pins short ways in again, just one hole up to hold the seat in place, and then that is going to go into this elbow here. So it sits on top of that beam there. You can get a bit of a recliner. And we got a 7-hole Technic beam. We're going to drop several pins in this. So we've got a pin at the top, a hole, a pin, a hole, a pin, and then we should have a pin at the bottom. So we've got 4 pins in there. And then we're going to put a small, is that small? I think that's a large black L shape. A large black L shape And on the end of these two pins here, oops, bit of a wiggle, and close this off here. So that is going to go like that. Next is small L shape, black, small L shape, and we got a blue pin with an axle going in the foot of the bed, and we got a black pin going in just before the headboard. Then we got a grey pin, frictionless, so this should move. This will have some movement. At the headboard, top of the headboard, and we got a small green L shape, and you see you should have that kind of movement because that's a frictionless pin. And 7 long Technic beam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is going to go onto this black pin here, and then we're going to put a black pin at the top of that like that, and then we're going to put a 1 hole, 1 pinhole, 1 axle connector at the very top of that. So it's going to be like that. And then this build seems to be build some pieces and then attach, build some pieces and then attach. So the blue pin is going to go after the grey pin here. It looks like it's going to be like that. So yeah, you build a module and then you attach it. You can build a module and then you attach it. Some Lego sets you kind of build as you're holding it, don't you? Right, we've got this big U shape, and we're putting 2 blue pins with axle, 1 on either side, like so, and then we're putting a ET head on top of that. We want an ET head, there we go, on top of that, and then we got a 5 axle going through ET's neck. We want a 5 axle. Okay, 5 axle. It's going to go through his neck like that, and then we've got a 4 axle with stopper on the end for the gear work. Not that. That's there we go. And then we got tan gear, and the teeth are facing into the stopper. Then we're going to close that off with a small bushing just to keep it in place. Also, the bushings will allow to be spacers as well. And then we're just going to pop that inside like so. And then we're going to put a universal joint on the end of that just to keep that in place. So we want a universal joint. Universal joint. There it is. On the end. And now, first of all, you've got movement, and second of all, it's secure. And next, we've got a 8 axle is going to go straight through here with a stopper on the end. So that's your 8 axle, large one. Hold it just before you're going to go into the other side of that U shape there, because we're going to attach a gear. The gear is going to face teeth into the other teeth of the gear that we just put in, like so. And then just to test it, rotate it. You got your teeth are all matched up. Push the axle all the way through, and then we're going to put a bushing, large bushing on the end of that just to keep that in secure. So put your thumb behind the axle and push the bushing on. Test it out again. Both sides, works perfect. Then we got a 4 axle is going to go on the end of that universal joint, and then we got 2 small bushings are going to go on the end there as well, like so, just to add as spacers, act as spacers, sorry. Then we got 1 hole connector with the axle hole and pin hole, and we got a 5 axle going through the bottom of that. So we want 5 axle. Oh, I lost it. There we go. And with the hole facing up, we're going to put some fire hydrants on that are going to be facing the other way. So you got kind of a right angle. So these are fire hydrants there. Look like fire hydrants to me. And you see you got your right angle going on there. So do the same again with another fire hydrant. Push your axle just so that you're even on either side. And then this is going to go into the axle with the universal joint. Hold it in place. And then we're going to put a yellow axle connector on the end of that, and that will secure it. Next thing we're going to do is add it to the model. Okay. So it's like that with the 8 axle with the stopper facing away from you, and it is going to go, it's going to go into this hole here on this Technic beam. So it's going to go into this hole here, like that. And this axle is going to go into that hole like that. Still, it's kind of loose. Oh yeah, and looks like this axle here is going to go into the green, the small green L shape as well. That will hold it in place as much as it can. And you can see this is going to be folding up. So that's where the tool of the tractor is going to be. So that's going to fold up to stow. And then we got the light grey small L shape to close this off here. And it's hiding. It's hiding really well, actually. Oh, there it is. Got it. It's hanging out with E.T.'s head. And it's going to be on that blue pin, that black pin, and the axle. Push that home. And then we got 2 black pins. We got a black pin going in just before the top there. And on the same side, another black pin just before the top. Like so. We're starting to get a bit of a framework here now. Oh, next piece is 2 axle connector, 3 axle. We've got loads of these 3 axles running around. And then we've got a large bushing going onto that axle, and then close that off with another one of these 2 axle connectors like so. Then we got 2 blue pins with axle are going to go into these axle holes at the end here. Find them like so. And put that part aside for now. 2 blue pins and a 1-hole plate with 2 axle holes. I'm going to poke these axle pins through like so. And then we're going to put a an axle. This axle has a collar it has a collar around it to stop it from going through a hole like so. And either way, oops. So it stops it falling through, you see. So we're going to pop that into this middle hole here, and then we're going to close that off with another plate. So it's going to keep it in place, and it's also going to rotate. You can test that out by just rotating it around, and it works perfectly. So then we got a screw that's going on the top of that. So there's a screw. then we're going to put in another one of those 2 axle connectors with the hole in the middle. And it's hiding like every piece. There we go. And then we're going to put on top of that an axle connector on top like that, and you should have this kind of rotation. Then this is going to attach to that plate work that we just done. 2 pins are going to go into these holes here like so, and then we're going to add it to the model. So we're going to have these pins facing towards the back of the model, and they're going to attach to, it's a really good question, they are going to attach to one, 2, 3. So we got 3 holes from here to 1, 2, 3. It's gonna go into that hole there. That's where those blue pins are going to go into, and that's that. And we should have some axles going into from here to hold the L shape in place and hold this axle connector in place as well. In fact, there you go, that's our next stage. Right, so 4 axle is going through the axle hole in that connector there. It's going to go through the Technic beam, which should be a hole, and it's going to try and meet up with this connector here. There we go. And it won't go all the way in because we're going to be adding something to that. And we're not going to be doing this side yet because we need to close it off with a curly whirly. And the curly whirly is going to go there. Now we can put the 4 axle in. It should. This one should stick out a little bit more because we haven't got the grey hole connector on there just yet. And then we've got a small black L shape. And so we're going to do the other side now of the tool. Pin at the bottom of the bed, frictionless pin at the headboard, and a black pin between the headboard and the middle of the bed. Add the smaller green L shape. Make sure you got movement, and then we're going to add that to the model basically on the other side here. So it should attach itself like so. There you go, it's still got your movement. Nice colours they've used in this, to be fair. Right, so we've got a 5 axle, very small dark bluish grey gear. Got 2 of these in this set. A 2 axle hole connector, plate, sorry, and a small bushing. You would think I like saying axle connector, wouldn't you? So that's going to go there, and then we've got a 4 axle going through the other side of that plate, and then we are going to be, and also probably think I like saying close it off, grey plate, and then there's going to be a grey plate on that side as well. Where's the grey plate? There it is. And we're going to be putting some ball joints on the ends of here. So we've got some ball joint pins, grey, are going to go on the end here. So the difference between the black and the grey ones are the black are pin and the grey are axle pin. And there it is. So I can't find it. Alright, so obviously we're going to have some arms attached to this, and this is going to find its way home It's going to work against the screw here, so I think it's going to be about there. And to test out to see if you've got the screw and everything like that in the right place, just twist the control connector there, and it should move up and down relatively easy. We're going to be closing that off. Right, so we got the Technic beam going across here. That's going to go in there, and then we've got another one running up here like so, and that's going to keep that in place now. We got two black ball joints, and you can see the difference there, being pin and being axle pin, and they are going to go in just after these axle holes here on the green L shape. I find the other, there it is, just after that green. That's that stage done, and then we're going to put the light grey 2-hole connector on top, the axle like so, and we've got a pin going in, looks here, it looks like it's going to go here. I'll reconfirm that. Quick look. Yes, it is. Yes, we got 3 pins going in actually. Got 2 more pins are going to go into. Oh, I see. Right. I'll move this off the axle. There's a pin that's going to go in that corner as well, and then that will hold that in place like so, and then we've got a pin just after that grey connector as well, so you got both pins like that. Next stage, T-shape. It's basically the other axle that we're doing. T-shape, there you go. Same again with the blue pins, one at the top, one at the bottom. Short end in first. H shape, straight across, like that. Black 3-hole Technic beam on the blue pin, and then a black pin is going to go on the top of that, like so. Then we've got a different arrangement here. We've got the pin or the axle with the collar on it. Where's it gone? Is it gone? There it is. The axle with the collar on it is going to go into that. No, it's not. It's going to go into that like that. Does that make sense? And then we've got the large bushing going on the top of that. Okay. Yeah. I see. And then attach that to the model, and that bushing acts as a spacer and stops the axle from falling out. This one is attached to the gears, this one is not. So it's saying wind up the tool. No, it's wind up. Oh no, it's telling you what it's going to do. Right, so we're going to attach 2 arms going across these ball joints here, so one on each end. So just pop them onto the ball joint. And another one. Where do all my pieces hide? There we go. And that. and that, and then just test it out, and it should fold the tool up and down. Won't go all the way because the length of the arm, but that works as it should do. Good functionality. Good functionality. Right, so 7-hole Technic beam, 2 pins, one at top, one at the bottom. So one at the top, one at the bottom, and this is going to go across the structure underneath. And it's going to connect. Let's see, it's going to go from the last 2 holes here from the tool, so it's going to go into there like that. Then we got small green L shape, gonna pepper it with blue pins, putting the short end in first so the long end sticks out. So we're going to be adding something to it. And then we got the short, I think that's a 2-hole Technic beam going across there, and then they've got the short black or small black L shape going off those two, so it's like that. Hope that's right. Yeah, it looks right. And then we go close it off with the other and the last green L shape like that, and then we're going to be putting 2 pins with a hole in the middle on either side of that. The holes facing up, and then we got a 3-axle going into the end of this L shape. That is an L shape. Yeah, it is an L shape. 3-axle going into the end of the L shape like that. This is going to form the front of the tractor. And we got these cool, rather cool arrow pieces, and they're just going to sit on the end of the axle. Where's the other one? I lost the other one. There it is. And that kind of looks like a front of a tractor. So we're going to add that to the model. And it's these black pins that we've put in this bar ages ago. That's going to be going into these grey connectors here. And that's what's going to hold the nose of the tractor in place like so, and then we're going to drive a 3-axle through there just to keep that all in secure position, if I can get there. There you go, like that, and that's a very solid connection right there. Next we've got some V-shapes. These are probably going to be the mud guards. 3-axle in each side, so 3-axle there and a 3-axle there like that. We got a black pin going into the top. Black pin. It's going to go in from, doesn't look like it's the elbow, it's going to be the pin, the hole after. And then we've got a frictionless pin going in here. So we want frictionless pin, so there's going to be some movement. Oh, okay. And a 1-hole connector with axle is going to hang off that pin there. And we got a large bushing is going to go on the end of this 3-axle here. And then we go close that off with another V shape and see what we got. Okay, that's what we got. That's not what we're supposed to have. We're supposed to have a 1-hole connector at the end here as well. And it goes through axle hole. Okay. Now we can close it off. There we go. And that's what we're supposed to have there. Does look like a mudguard. It's not though, by those things. It looks like it's steps. And we're going to push this blue pin through and attach that to that. It kind of looks like it's steps. That's what it looks like. And do the same again, V shape, black pin just after the elbow, 3 axle in either hole, so 1, 2, 1 hole connector with axle is going to go, that's a fire hydrant onto the end there, and then we've got another one on the end of this one, and we've got the frictionless pin. Where's a frictionless pin? There it is. Frictionless pin is going there, and then close it off. Nope, we got the long, we got the big bushing as well. Big bushing, there we go. On there, and now we can close it off. So I need a V shape to close it off. There it is. Like that, and that, and then we have our other step. That's going to go on the other side of that blue pin, like so. There you go. You got wonky steps. It looks like got some headlights or something. Small L shape, 3 axle going through the top of the L, and then we got the 2-pin connector with the hole in the middle. Where is it? There it is. 2-pin connector with a hole in the middle is going to go next to it, and then we've got this Technic beam here, angulared. I think it's a 3x6. Is going to go on the end of that axle. Then close that off with what probably is the last small L shape, and got beam. You got a pin, sorry, and an axle to line up, and it should be like that. Then we have trans clear. They kind of look like feet or claws or something like that. It's quite a cool little piece. First time I've worked with the trans clear version. I think I've done the red version. So this is the first time I've done a trans clear one. We've got a bore axle is going to go into the end like so. Then we got a 1-hole, 2-axle hole plate, black. There we go. So you got it's got 1 hole and 2 axle hole. So I usually call it 1-hole plate. And that is going to attach to that. So it's in line with the plate and this trans clear piece, and then we've got a red axle going into the end of that. Then this is going to connect to the axle hole here with the 4-axle, like so. Oh, and then we're going to attach it to the model. All right. So it's I think this red axle is going to go into this hole here, so we've got this movement. Oh, that's going to be the steering wheel, right? Okay. And then we go put the plate. So we go close this off. We want another 1-hole plate, 2-axle. There is another 1-hole plate. So pop that on there, and then we've got the trans clear piece on top of that, and you've got kind of headlights, fancy headlights. 7 long Technic axle with 2 red plates and red axle by looks things. So it's like that, and then the red axle is going to be on the end here. So, and this is going to go, I think that's going to lock this in place. So that goes in like so, I think. And then we've got a large bushing on the end of that, like that. So we got this. I don't know what that is. Steering wheel, right? So steering wheel, 10 pin with axle, and it should be frictionless, so that it can move, and then that's going to go into that pinhole there, and there you go. There's your movement of your steering wheel. It's all coming together. Oh, let's give it a stage. Some panels next, right? Okay, so we've got 5-hole Technic beam. We're dropping a pin at the end of one, and then it's hole, and then a pin. And then this is going to attach to, hey, I got the right one. Those 2 pinholes there, so that's kind of flush with that. Then this is going to attach to a blue pin somewhere. I haven't got a blue pin in here, have I? Oh. Did I miss that? I did. It's right there. So that's what is that? That's hole, gap. Drive that pin through. Sorry, apologies. And that should attach to. Wow, bit fiddly. Attached to that blue pin, like so. Oh yeah, that's actually really quite nice. That's why they've used this element here, because of the curve of that panel. That's really actually quite well thought of. Same again with the other panel. Okay, so blue hole, blue hole, 5-hole. Technic beam, and then the plate, and same again on the other side. Yeah, this is very well thought of. See that is very well thought of. The whole shape here, yeah, I like that. Kudos to that. Kudos to that. This is actually quite a well thought of designed kit. Kind of looks like a nose of a tractor as well. So yeah, it gets my vote. 3-hole connector is going. 3-hole axle is going to go into here to stop this from flopping about by the looks of things. That's what that's going to do. Not sure if it's going to go all the way in. Yeah. And then the other side as well, possibly, maybe. Just going to do that. It is a 3, yeah, it is 3-hole axle. Yeah, there's a 3 axle in the other side as well. Okie dokie. Some small parts that you miss, huh? There we go. That stops the steps from flopping about now. Then we have what looks like it could be the exhaust. So we got a 1-hole, 2-hole axle connector. Putting 2 red axles on either side of it. Then we're putting another connector on either side of the axles. And find them. There's one. And where's the other? There's the other. And then we got a blue pin with axle on the end of that. So we're putting a 1-hole connector on the end of that. And then that's going to go on the red axle here. I think I just pushed that axle through, didn't I? Yeah, I did. That was a bit foolish. All right, let's try that again. I'll go put my finger behind it this time. There we go. It slightly pushed it through again, but I got it. And that is your exhaust. I'm sure of it. 7-hole Technic beam, green, and we're going to be putting large black pin with collar on one end. Are we going pushing it through all the way? Yes, we are. And then there's a black pin on the inside of that next to it. Then we got 2 holes, and then we got black pin, and then we got a hole and a black pin. Then we got a 3-hole Technic beam going on the end of those 2 pins like so. This is forming the roof, and those 2 are going to connect to that 3-hole there like so. And then we're making the bar that goes across, so black pin with collar and a 3-axle, or is it? Yeah, it's 3-axle. 3-axle, 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 3-axle. Yep. 3-axle, and then another pin with collar. Where are you? There you are. And then that's just going to go across the front here. And then same again with the other 7-hole green beam. Last pin with no, it's not actually. I can see another one with collar, and then black pin after it. 2-hole black pin. Go and find a black pin. Black pin. And another black pin somewhere hiding. It's right in front of me, isn't it? No. And the end there, and 3-hole Technic beam, and then pop that on the other side. Try not to build it on top of the parts because it might ping parts. There we go, and that's your roof. Looking cool. It's actually looking a really, really cool build. I have to admit, it's quite a size as well. And these look like the frameworks for the front of the windows. So we've got 6-axle and periscope and a fire hydrant. So we've got periscope and the fire hydrant. Holes facing both ways. So you've got axle holes on the fire hydrant there facing up, and the periscope facing up as well. And then you're going to attach. We're going to attach it to the pin first, because then you got movement, and then attach it to the axle. You attach it to the axle first, you might get some issues because the axle doesn't rotate. And we're doing that twice, right? Okay, so 6-axle, fire hydrant this time, and the periscope, holes facing the same way. Pop the pin in first, so you got some movement, and then line up the axle down there. Solid, nice, very cool. I do like this set. I do like this set. Back windows this time, so 6-axle again, periscope again, and it looks like the 2-hole connector this time. So as you can see on the diagram, the hole is facing you and the axle is facing down, and it's about that. You got pinholes to play with this time, so pin at top. I'll try the top first, and it should line up with the pin next to this grey connector beam there. Yep, like so. So that worked, so we'll do that again. 6-axle periscope, 2-hole connector. Just slightly down on the pin, and then line up the pin next to the grey connector. Bam. There we go. Solid. Solid. Oh, look at these lights. That's cool. All right, so we got some more drum heads, and we're going to put the red on the left and the orange on the right. And then we're doing the same again, but we're doing reverse. Doing a red on the right, orange on the left. Very simple build for lights. Orange on the outside because it's the indicators, and they're going to go onto the ends of this axle here. Which I have to say, I'm really impressed with this set. I am really impressed with this set. This looks so cool. Mud guards. All right, so we've got some mud guards that are obviously mud guards. Those are going to go onto these 2 pins here, like so. I feel we're close. Look at that. Really, I am feeling this set. I really am. This looks like the mirrors. Okay, so we got this plate here, special plate with an axle hole, not the axle hole, pinhole. Sorry. Tile going on there. I'm guessing there's a sticker for it. Blue pin with axle is going to go on the ends like so, and then we got the extended fire hydrant, or what it kind of reminds me of one of those telescopes from tourist type things, and then build that like that, and that is that. So we do 2 of those. So that pinhole and the telescope. And now then, these are going to attach to the ends of the pin with the collar, like so, and then you can just point your mirrors in. Rotate, and there you have it. There's your mirrors. Great scale this set as well. Jumping ahead. Is that it? We've got wheels next. Right, wheels next. So this must be all the tool. That's what this must be. So I get the tractor tires on. It doesn't feel like they're in. There we go. There we go. That's better. Much better. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Put the bigger parts in now. I'll just give them a bit of a fluff around. Those actually sat in there quite nicely. Okay. And there we go. Right, so we're going in the deeper. We're not using the racing side, we're using the deep side. That's the deep side. And again, we're not using the racing side, we're using the industrial side. Like so. Look at this. This is fantastic. That is awesome. You got your hand of God steering right there, and then you got your tool tilt in there. Yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome. That is a really truly awesome track to build. I'm feeling that. All right, tool time. Let's see if the tool is going to let me down. Is this going to be a good set? It looks like it, doesn't it? It really does. Right, so not much. Actually, there's quite a bit to the parts of the tool still left over. We want a 3-axle. I want a 3-axle. And I don't have a I am a 3-axle short. It might have rolled off the table. Let's have a quick look and see if we have a 3-axle here. Yeah, we do. It's a very popular axle in the Technic builds. So we got the 3-axle, we got the short stopper or the long, the small stopper, and then we've got the 5-hole red Technic beam, a small U shape. That is going to go over the top in the middle. This is going to go through that axle hole and the beam. Push it all the way, like so. Then we have 2-hole connector, 1 axle, 1 pin with a 5-axle. There you go, 5-axle. And a long or large bushing. And then that's going to go into that hole there, like so. And then we've got the 2-hole connector with pinhole and oh no, we got bushing going on top of that. Yeah, we got a bushing going on top of that first, right? So we got a large bushing. It's going on top, and then we got that, and that should flip up and down. I think that's what that's designed to do. Oh, hello. ET head. I'll poke one of his eyes out with a pin with collar. And then we're putting a big H shape on top. And then we are putting a 4-axle into the end of that pin with collar. Then we're dropping down a dark tan pin with stud. Keep your finger on it. Very small, looks like a very small dark bluish grey gear on the end of that, and then just to keep that in place we're putting a small bushing on the end, like so, like that. You should have some rotation. And then we're going to put the red 5-hole Technic beam on top, like so. And we got the large dark bluish grey gear with pin and axle. The axle hole is going to go in the middle. This is going to go through the remaining hole here, and it should meet up with that small gear there. Cool. Okay. And oh, I see. This is going to attach to this, right? So make sure we got it facing the right way. And it's going to go on the outer pin like so. Okay. And next side as well, right? So another ET head, last one I think. Last pin with collar. And the 4-axle is a last 4-axle as well. And the last big H shape. There's quite a lot of these H shapes that were involved in this build today. And dark tan gear, tanned axle with pin on the end, stud on the end, sorry. Dark bluish grey gear, followed by a small bushing. You get your kind of build like that. Then it's your red Technic beam on top, like so, and dark bluish grey with tan pin and axle into the remaining hole to meet up with the other gear. There's a bit of resistance there this time. I'm not sure what's... Maybe I've got that a bit too tight. That's better. Yeah. And then that is going to attach to... Now then, how do we get that attached to last time? I think it's there. And now we got this is going to go in the middle here, isn't it? To work them both. Okay. Okay, so 2 bushings, short bushings, like that, on the ends of these axles. And then 2 red plates on the ends of those, like that. And then we've got 2 8 axles are coming in from the other side, and they're coming in through the remaining hole, or is it this hole here? Oh, it's going to go and then go through the axle. Yeah. Got it. I got it. Like that. Big U shape. And 2 blue pins with axle either end. And 4 axle with stopper. And gear facing the stopper again. And another bushing spacer on top of that into the into the U shape, and then another 4 axle is coming in from here, and then we're putting the gear facing the other gear and try and meet. Easier said than done. There we go, got it. Like so, and you should have some sort of rotation. And we got coat hangers are going to go on the ends of these, so top pin, middle pin and bottom, and they're going to go back to back like that. And then this is going to attach to the mechanism. Now then, is it going to go... Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Yep. Okay. Like that. Push it home. Is it going to go home? Yeah. Perfect. And I guess we... Oh, we got 2, right? 2 bushings just to go on here and keep these axles with stoppers in place. We've got one more somewhere. No. These things just like bounce everywhere. Right, there we go. And yep, so we're going to add this to the axle, okay, the middle hole, and should meet up with the other gears. There we go, like so, and they all should move each other now. The whole, wow, that's so cool. That is so cool. It's so satisfyingly cool. So we got these blades things. So looks like we're dropping the short end in, and then it's a hole, and then it's drop, and then it's a hole, and it's a drop, and then we're just attaching these guys to the ends here. What do I got? One of these left over. And then close that off. Boom. It's like hands or something, isn't it? Like, hole, pin, drop, hole, pin, drop. Attach these guys. And Voila. And that, yeah, that's it. Right, so this is going to attach to the underneath of this, I guess. And same here. Oh, just push the axle through just a touch. There we go. Got some movement both sides. Moment of truth. Is it going to work? Have I got it right way round? There we go. Attach it. Moment of truth. Here we go. Oh yeah, look at that. That is so cool. And it folds up as well. So this way this was moving. I think, yeah, that keeps it locked into a deployed position. You just move that up and then close these up and then lift your tool up, and there you go, you're in stowed position. Isn't that fantastic? I'm gonna have to say this gets my thumbs up. This totally gets my thumbs up. This is such a cool, let me get rid of the, there we go. This is such a cool build. It really is such a cool build. I love it. It looks great. And the functionality of it, the playability, and you know, where you could go with it and stuff like that, in like adding things to it and mocks and stuff like that. It's just brilliant. It is an awesome set. It really is. Folks, if you enjoyed watching this and you want to see some more builds, please give us a thumbs up, give us a thumbs down. Don't forget to hit the like. Love the likes. Love the discussions that we've been having as well. So drop a comment, hit that comment and the like and subscribe. Maybe that notification as well, so you can see some more of my videos. This is awesome. I love it. I'm Shaun from BRIT'N Bricks. Peace.